Well, I'm talking about you don't have the fast finger-moving solos as previous albums, right?
Maybe your ears have slowed down.
Oh yeah.
No, I think it's partially because I'm playing more melodic and our songwriting's becoming better. Mm-hmm. So obviously my guitar style changes a little bit to fit the song.
Okay, so we spend a lot of time on this channel learning classic Van Halen, mostly Diamond Dave stuff, because that's just my personal favorite. But I want to dive into a little bit of Van Hagar this time and show you the Can't Stop Lovin' You solo, because it's arguably when Eddie was at his best. I know what you're probably thinking, best? Hold on now, buddy. There is no best. And you're totally right. This is just going to be a personal preference. This is probably when Eddie, in my opinion, was the most musically mature. You can hear very rich layers throughout the whole thing. Not quite as raw as a lot of the Diamond Dave stuff. Just a different side of Eddie's playing in a very well-written solo. So if you want the tabs for this, that is going to be all linked down below for you. Also, if you want the backing track that I use, try the solo yourself. That's linked down there as well. Tag me in if you post them, and then if you guys would and you dig these lessons and you want more Van Halen content, just hit the subscribe button. That's all I ask. So other than that, let's get into the lesson and let's go. Okay, so let's start off by talking about what is actually happening behind the solo, because I always feel like laying the groundwork or the foundation of the solo, which is the backing, it helps you understand what's happening in the solo a lot better. So there's really only two chords that we have to talk about here. It starts off like this. Just a C power chord to a D power chord. And then Eddie does this. And you might be like, oh, those are some fancy sounding chords. What you got going on over there, Mr. Eddie Van Halen? He's actually just playing a D chord and a C chord again. But if you look at the way he's doing it, he's putting his fifth in the bass. Now that is a very, I learned a lot of that stuff from Eric Johnson and guys like that. But really, if you look at it, it's the same thing if you played the chord like this. But instead of having your A note down here, Eddie puts it on the bass. And you get a really cool D major inversion. Now what I'm playing is 5th fret on the low E string, 5th fret on the A, and then 4th fret on the D. Now Eddie adds the G note of the open G on here, and that technically transforms that into a D add 11, because the G would be your 4, and then as you go past 8, it would equal 11. And then all he does is he slides it down. And what's cool about this one, this is just a straight C major. But again, 5th in the bass. He's got that G note right there, which is your 5th of G, or a 5th of C. There's your 3rd. Then the open G is just another G note, so another 5th. So you've got 5th, root, 3rd, 5th. And this one, you've got 5th, root, 3rd, 11th, or 4th. And that's all it is. Except for the last time he goes like this. To an A sus2. So now let's move into the solo. Now the opening part is what I saw played wrong the most. I always try to watch a bunch of covers as well as a bunch of live footage to figure out really how it's all kind of pieced together. Now I see a lot of people play it like this. And the notes are correct in a way. If you watch all the live footage, Eddie plays this the same way every single time. He goes like this. Octaves. He's definitely using octaves in there. I used to play it wrong too, so don't worry. Now we're up here on 12th fret of the G, and then your octave is of course on 15 on the high E string. Now it sounds like he kind of hits it a couple times. He's got, whatever his effects are, it's very like whooshy kind of sounding, so he might be like constantly picking this. Sometimes live he goes like this. He's like constantly picking, not playing the wrong notes like I just did though. So anyways, it's octaves. You can decide how many times he's picking it. So you're at 12 and 15, 11 and 14, 9 and 12. All the way up to 12 again. So I'm only going to call it the G notes. Now you're gonna go up to 14, which is 14, 17. And he kind of sounds like he goes back to 12. And he just slides those down like they're not picked. But again, that I could be wrong about. But it's definitely octaves. And next is that fast lick. Now this is really good insight into the scale or mode that we're playing. I don't think necessarily Eddie was sitting here being like, I'm going to play Mixolydian over this. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. But from what I know about Eddie, he probably was not. But this really tells us what we're doing here. So instead of being a major scale, Eddie's playing this note right here, which is our flat 7, making it Mixolydian. So he walks up, simply going 10, 12, 14 on the low E string. Now you pick the first note and hammer on the next 2. Go to the A string, do the same thing. D string, same thing. Okay? Nice little melodic line. 11 on the G, 12 on the G, back to 11. Then 12 on the D. Okay? Slide up. Now on that lick in particular, you want to roll your volume knob down. Because the next lick is that little swell that he does. Because you need the volume off to do this next volume swell thing where he's going to go 19, 20, bend 20, 15, 17. But he's doing it all with volume swells. Like I said, it's a tough lick to get every single time. And an even cooler lick is next. What is he doing? He's just going down a D major arpeggio. So we're starting up here, and if you listen, you can hear him kind of slide into the note. So it's not just the, it's... And I do use those volume swells as a moment. I like to have it on the bridge pickup for those. That's usually when I switch and go to the neck pickup. So I'm kind of raking my way into that. Up to 17 on the high E string. Okay, so slide into it. Then you go 15, hammer on 17, pull off 15, slide down to 14. Then you go to 15 on the B. Now that is our D major. Go to that 14 on the G, slide down to 12, double slide. Cool little thing there, from 12 to 11. So, okay. Now we have that. Then you're gonna go to 12 on the D and roll your middle finger to get 12 on the A, sliding down to 10. It's a tricky lick. Oh, hold on. I always thought this was so hard to do. You're on that 10, and you're not picking anything else. You hammer onto 12, pull off the 10, pull off the 9, back to 10, up to 12, and then 12 on the D. It's a tough lick. Okay, and then... So very similar to the lick that we played earlier, but he's ending on that A note, which is right here. We're gonna go 12, 11, 12 on the D, and then 12 up to 14. Now what happens in the backing? He goes like this. Oh, A chord, A note, targeting those chord tones. And then you have... Okay. But that's a solo. Really, really cool stuff. Like I said, just a well-constructed and written solo. There's just so many little things that you can take away if you want to incorporate it into your own phrasing. So there's your solo. Get you some, man. Can't stop loving you. Alright gang, I think that will be it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Like I said before, make sure you get the tabs and the backing track. If you're not too busy, hit the subscribe button. It really does help out a bunch. Keeps these lessons coming. And just cool stuff in this one. I mean... Every Eddie solo or song or riff is going to have cool stuff in it. In my opinion, the greatest to ever do it. So, anyways, that's going to be it. I will see you all later. I'll see you Sunday with another video. Later, homies.